So I was originally just going to quickly walk you through my new notebook, my new bullet journal, because I'm not using the Leuchtturm anymore. I'm using a notebook from a different brand called Scribbles That Matter. And I wanted to tell you the things that I like and dislike about this notebook. And I also want to share a few things that's changed from my first bullet journal. And this is the one where this one has its own dedicated video that I'll link above and also down in the description box. This one was my most recent one before I started this new one, and this is actually not designed to be a bullet journal. The brand is Shinola, and this one's just lined. It's just a regular notebook that ended up becoming my bullet journal. And for the last part of this video, I'm going to walk you through my October 2018 setup in my new notebook. So this new notebook is from a brand called Scribbles That Matter. I found out about this from Amanda Rach Lee. She has a huge channel here. She recently hit 1 million subscribers and she is immensely talented. And I picked up a lot of things from her actually. This is one of those things that I picked up from her. She really raved about this notebook, and I was waiting for months to get my hands on this, and I'll explain in a little bit why I had to wait so long. So this is the A5 dotted notebook. I got it on Amazon for $20. The Leuchtturm is also about $20, so there isn't a huge difference here. So these two are pretty similar in size. The notebooks do feel different. This is just the hardcover, and this one, I think on their website it says it's made of like synthetic leather. So this one just feels slightly smoother to the touch. This sticker did not come with this notebook. I got this on Etsy. Alright, so now I'm gonna just give you a quick walkthrough of the things that I like and dislike about this new notebook. So as soon as you open this notebook, on the bottom here it says, tip, to avoid ruining your new journal, try out all new pens on the pen test page at the end. So if you go all the way to the end, there is a dedicated page for you to test your pens, and I absolutely love this because in previous notebooks, I go through different pens and I would always write like, do you bleed, to see if the ink shows up on the other side. And so I like that there's a separate page for it where you can do all that so you don't mess up your other pages. And it's double-sided and you can kind of see which pens bleed through or ghost, right? So I appreciate that. So one thing I always do is when I test out a pen now, I like to write the name of the pen so that if it, skips or bleeds or ghosts, then I know exactly which pen did what. This pen right here, the Pentel liquid gel ink, the 0.5 millimeters, is kind of perfect. That's the one that is now dedicated to this bullet journal. The next thing to note that's really important is how thick these pages are. So just to give you some context. So this is an old moleskin notebook, and the thickness of the page is measured by what's called a GSM. So GSM stands for grams per square meter, and basically what that means is the higher the GSM, the thicker or the heavier your paper is. So the moleskin has a GSM of 70. So this one's relatively thin. And then this is the Leuchtturm. A Leuchtturm has a GSM of 80. So slightly thicker than the moleskin. And my notebook from Shinola, I have 0 blank pages in here, so I can't show you a blank page, but yeah, the Shinola has a GSM of 90. So with those 3 notebooks as references, this Scribbles That Matter notebook, the pages have a GSM of 100. So it is definitely the thickest of all 4 notebooks that I own. So the next thing that's important to me is that the pages are numbered. And these have numbers just like the Leuchtturm does. Moleskins and the Shinola notebook do not come with numbered pages. The next thing I like about this notebook is that it has 2 ribbon bookmarks, just like the Leuchtturm does. The Moleskin and the Shinola, they each just have 1 single ribbon bookmark. So yeah, having 2 is important to me. I find it much more useful. The next big difference between the Leuchtturm and the Scribbles That Matter notebook is the pen loop. Now the Scribbles That Matter notebook, it comes with a built-in pen loop, which is really nice. The Leuchtturm, however, does not, but they do sell it separately, and prices range drastically on Amazon. I've seen some for like $4, I've seen some for $10, and I just think it's kind of ridiculous to have to pay for, you know, something sticky here so you can stick your pen in the notebook. That's just my opinion though, but I do really appreciate that it's already built into this notebook. And then right after the pen test page at the end of this notebook, I thought this was such a nice little touch. There is a mindfulness page, and it says here, flip through this journal from the first page to the last. See all the scribbles, a mirror to your past. What have you learned? How have you grown? Reflect and ponder when you are alone. And then you get to write down the date where you finished your journal. And I just thought it was nice because I personally really like to flip through old journals and old notebooks of mine and just kind of skim through and see things I've written down, things I've experienced, and I like that this kind of just gives you a little nudge to do so. One thing I thought that was important to point out is that if you scroll down on their Amazon page, it actually says that they will offer you a 100% money back guarantee if you're not satisfied with the notebook. And I imagine that they would take it back after you've tried it out and you don't like it, because I don't know, you know, how you would tell you don't like a notebook unless you've written in it and, you know, actually used it. Now, I'm not 100% sure of like the details of this policy, but I thought it was worth pointing out. Okay, so there are a few things that I dislike about the notebook, and also a few things that I feel like could be improved by this brand. The first thing being that their products, all of their products are seasonal. And it actually says in the frequently asked questions section on their website that if it's not available online, it's most likely sold out because their products are seasonal. So I waited months for this color. I have been regularly visiting the Amazon page to see when they would restock, because the two notebooks that they had in stock, they weren't my style at all, and this color was one of the few that I actually like. So the second thing that could be improved is the color options that Scribbles That Matter offers. Just my opinion, I feel like the choices that you have that Leuchtturm offers is way more attractive and there's more of a variety. The other thing I'm not too crazy about is the choice of font. I personally think that it just feels a little childish to me, and I actually tried to cover it up and then the sticker started lifting. I ripped it off and that's why it looks the way it does. So on the back of the notebook here on the bottom, you got some icons and then some branding. I'm really not a fan of this. I think the notebook would just look nicer if it was blank. And I just took some Glossier stickers and covered that up. So this brand is based out of the UK, and when I first discovered them, they didn't have their own website yet. So I know they had a Facebook page and an Amazon page, but now they do have a website that's up and running. The prices aren't available in US dollars, and I do believe that they offer free shipping at some point. I think it's like £50 or something. I believe the notebooks are slightly more expensive on their website, but you are getting more color options than you'd find on Amazon. But I've never ordered from their website. What I do is I have DM'd them on Instagram and I've asked them when their next restock on Amazon would be, and then whenever that date is, I will go back and check and see what they've stocked up on. But yeah, just wanted to let you know about that. So now I want to show you some of the changes I've made from my first bullet journal. This is from 2016 to my current one, which I started at the beginning of October 2018. So first, all of my reference and contacts pages are all digital. So it either lives in my Evernote or in my Reminders app. So here is my wish list of beauty products that I wanted in 2016. Here is one of my contacts pages, and these were the list of packages that I was waiting for. And I like to keep this list because, you know, oftentimes like you make an order online and you could forget about it potentially, especially if it's something that's not that exciting, maybe, you know, groceries or certain home supplies or whatever. But yeah, I would just write down the packages that I'm waiting for and the date that I ordered it, when I ordered it. So something like this, as well as my beauty products wish list. They are now located digitally on my phone. So this is the reminders app on my phone. I've got context pages here like Costco, Down to Earth, Safeway, Foodland, Target, Walmart, Korean Mart. And so when I hit up these stores to go grocery shopping, I know exactly what I need to buy at each store. And for these three, actually these four, I've shared with my husband. So if he finds that we need to buy something from Costco, he has access to this list and he can add it onto this list from his phone. So this waiting for packages list is now here, and there are 7 packages that I'm waiting for right now. And yeah, something like I used to have a list of books I wanted to read that I kept in my old bullet journal. Now I just have it here as a list of books I want to check out from the library. Another thing I no longer record in my bullet journal is my gratitude list. I used to write down one thing I'm grateful for every day for each month, but now I have a dedicated journal for that. This is my 5-minute journal that I fill out every morning and every evening. I did talk about this in a video too, so I will link that down below if you're interested. My whole entire life is not in my bullet journal. I actually use my Google Calendar pretty frequently, and it's important for me to use that, especially for events and appointments that involve other people, and to accept calendar invitations or to share certain events or flights with my husband or the people involved. And so yeah, I do definitely use Google Calendar a lot more than I did when I first started my bullet journal 2 years ago. So one of the things that I recently discovered that I really appreciate is the Dutch door technique. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I learned this through Amanda Rachley's YouTube channel, and basically what it means is you take a few pages and you cut it enough so that you can have something in the margin here that you can see every single week. See this? And so for example, I have my August calendar here. I wanted to track my email list growth, so I wrote it there, and then just certain tasks that repeat weekly for me. And so instead of writing these 2 things over for every week in every weekly layout, I like that they're always here. So I can be in week 3 of August, and then I can move along to week 5, and these things that I want to be constantly visible to me, they're like the crutches of my weekly layout. After trying this out for the month of August, I was curious about how I would feel if I stopped using the Dutch door technique. So in September, I just went back to a regular weekly layout, and I really didn't like it. I just got so used to seeing the month at a glance, and because I couldn't see it and I had to keep flipping back for it, I didn't like that. And then I wrote here weekly tasks completed, and so I would have to go back and look at the weekly tasks and then go back and forth to make sure that the things I wanted to get done were scheduled into specific days. So yeah, I really like the Dutch door technique. I'll show you more of this in detail in the new October 2018 setup. So now we're in my current and new bullet journal. As soon as you open it, I have the key here. Now I adapted this from Amanda's key. I think her little icons were cuter. This isn't the original bullet journal symbols that writer Carol invented. So I'm just trying this out, and I have it in here so that I remember, because before for tasks, I think it was just a dot, and then when I finished it, I would put an X. But now a circle is a task, and then when I complete it, it's a circle that's colored in. So there's a whole dedicated page here for the key, like your bullet code, color code. I don't really find this useful for me, so I'm leaving that blank. And then we've got a few pages of the index. I feel like the lines could have been smaller on this so you can fit more. I feel like the spacing is just a little bit too wide for my taste, but you do get 3 pages of the index. So one Saturday, after a little too much wine, I was watching Amanda's video when she was transferring things from her old bullet journal to her new one, and this was one of the things that she did. So I just copied the little decorations, yeah, anyway, and so on the bottom here, I went ahead and highlighted the 3 months that are left of this year, and I started this notebook exactly on October 1st. So after these 3 months, this bullet journal is going to become a 2019 bullet journal. So here we've got 2019 at a glance, and then this page is also one that I learned from Amanda. So basically she's saying that no matter how long she's been bullet journaling, she forgets how many dots or, you know, boxes are across and from top to bottom, how many there are. And so she drew out this grid spacing. I copied it from her. So basically like halfway you've got about 13 dots, and then from top to bottom the halfway point is 19. It's actually not exactly 19 because there are 37 lines here and not 38, but that's close enough. So this, I guess, I'm trying to use as my future log. I've never really had a future log in any of my bullet journals, so we'll see if I actually use it. But I wanted 2 pages where I could look at the calendar and just see some events coming up. I have a few things that I can't reveal, which is why they're covered up right now. But yeah, like big events, birthdays, things I want to see, like a bird's eye view of the rest of this year. They're marked here, and then I don't know what I was trying to do with the color code system here. Like some of them are brown and some of them are orange. I forget. We'll see if I even use these pages. And then this layout here also inspired by Amanda's October creation. She was going for this like witch and Harry Potter theme, you know. I have not read or watched all the Harry Potter books and movies, just saying, but I thought her doodles were cute, so I just went and copied that. So this I'm kind of using more as my content calendar versus like an actual calendar, like my Google one. So here I'm just writing down a few of the video ideas that I have for Mondays. On Instagram, I'm trying to post 1 face mask that I'm using per week, and then Fridays I always send out my gratitude newsletters. And if you're not signed up, you should definitely sign up. I share 5 things every Friday that I've enjoyed, appreciated, or discovered that week, and this is a little fun one. I've been getting really great feedback. So there's still certain things that I do need to fill in here. This is always a work in progress. And then over here is I'm just keeping track of my email list growth. So this page is a new one. I've never done this before in any of my bullet journals, and it's been 9 days and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I wanted to incorporate a habit tracker, mostly to just encourage some of my good behaviors or habits, and also just to keep track of how often I do something. For example, this one's kind of silly. It says no ramen, and I only wrote this because there was a week I feel like Brandon and I were regularly eating ramen, like I was really craving it. And at the end of the week, you know, I easily said, oh, I ate ramen every single day. But I don't know that for a fact. It just felt like it because it was way more often than I normally would, you know, include in my diet. So I just thought it was funny to track how many days I actually eat it. And in the last 9 days, I've only eaten it 1 time, so that's great. I like to see how often I'm going to CrossFit. Every day I get out of bed. It should really say out of bed at 7 a.m. So last week I only got out of bed by 7 3 times. Sometimes I just like lay in bed and I'm on my phone or I'm journaling and stuff. So yeah. Water intake, how many times I've played tennis this month, surfing, morning pages, how many days I did not make an online purchase, how many times I masked this month, every time I eat breakfast. This is something that's really hard for me to do. So anytime I eat breakfast that has either protein or is yogurt, I can color in the day. And then I am back on track to read the Bible, and so every day that I read I get to color it in, and I'm the most proud of this one. And this last one here, I wanted to track this no complaining thing, because I know Tim Ferriss talked about it in one of his blog posts probably ages ago. The reason that I crossed this out is because I didn't set up clear guidelines, and so I couldn't really justify what constituted as a complaint or not. And yeah, I just didn't spend the time sitting down to define that. So I am not going to do that this month. We'll see if this gets included in November's spread. And here I just have a page writing down some video ideas I have, and then on the side I'll write the page number for where I took notes for each one. So right now these are just all bullet journal ideas. I don't know that I'm definitely going to do them, but at least I wanted space for me to write down and just get all my ideas out on paper. So this is my October weekly spread, and I already have all the months laid out. And so I'm excited to break this down for you. So this is just information I've covered up because I don't want to share that. I've got October at a glance right here. To my left, I have the key again, just because I'm getting used to the new symbols. And then I have a block for each day of the week. Now over here, I kind of split the space here for Saturday and Sunday, but the week after, yeah, Saturday and Sunday get an equal amount of space. So for my dates, I have a little date stamper that I bought in Hong Kong, so I use that to stamp out each of the dates. October 15th, I have a really exciting giveaway coming up, and I'll announce it then, so stay tuned for that. And then, let's see, on this very last page, I actually got carried away with doing the heading here. I overshot it, so over here, this should be blank because October ends on a Wednesday, October 31st, and so I could have just used this page as blank notes, but because I accidentally made the headings, I just wrote notes here, and then I'll just fill it up with whatever. But yeah, on the right here, this is something that is so crucial for me. I have 8 tasks here that always happen on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and they're just little things that I want to take care of at home. It's so satisfying for me to see all of these tasks written out, and for each one there are 5 boxes, each representing a week in October. So there's 5 weeks in October, and that's why there are 5 boxes. So because these are weekly tasks, every time I complete a task, I get to color it in, and I really enjoy that. The numbers here indicate when they happen, I guess, throughout the week. So for example, every Tuesdays I deep clean the bathroom, and so that's why I have the number 1 here. I don't have anything that like has to be prioritized on Mondays, so that's why cleaning the bathroom on Tuesdays is number 1. So at the upper right corner of each page, I've got a little number and a box around it, and that just lets me know what week I'm in. So this is week 2 of October, and basically what I like to do at the beginning of the week is look through my weekly tasks, and for each one I'll schedule it in whichever day I want to complete that task. So for example, clean the bathroom. I always clean on Tuesdays, like I mentioned, so I'll have it written in here. And when it is finished, I will color it in here, color it in here. And this just kind of gives me like a progress update of how I'm doing throughout the month, because maybe every week I won't have time to deep clean the bathroom. And so it's possible that all these numbers won't get colored in. But it is like extra motivation for me to see that. I'll just give you another example of a task that happens on a weekly basis, which is logging receipts. My husband and I, we have always had a budget since we've been married, and every week I like to see where we're spending our money, what category of our lives. And so every Saturdays I go through all of our receipts and I make sure that in our app, we use mint.com, all the things are logged correctly. So for example, if we go to Target and half of the list is groceries and half of it is home supplies, I want to make sure that I categorize them properly so I don't think we spent a whole bunch on groceries when we actually didn't. And then we've got 2 here that have like 2 of the weeks crossed out, and it's just washing pillowcases and sheets. I used to do it every single week, but I don't find that it's that necessary. I feel like it's good enough to do every single week, and I'm sorry if you think that's disgusting, but for us this works perfectly fine. We wash our sheets and change our pillowcases every other week. So that is it for this Dutch door weekly layout. And yeah, and then I just have some notes that I wanted to include in this video about, you know, my new bullet journal. Alright, I hope that was somewhat helpful and or entertaining. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.